I wish I had someone to do like intro music for these things. Or I wish that like I was comfortable enough with the rules of copyright to have like a brief sample of a song that I like do intro music for these videos. I have that like I heard somewhere at some point there was like a 30-second rule. Like could have like 30 seconds of a song and then it's gone. But there are a lot of bands that I mean I don't know, but still like you at least used to listen to where 30 seconds would be like a good 5-10 seconds longer than the song. So whatever. I want to talk about Halloween protection, and I forget why I called this spooky. In retrospect, that's probably terrible for SEO, isn't it? It's got nothing to do with hands or spookiness. I mean, I guess aside from the fact that Halloween is a bit spooky. Boo. Anyway, what I think is interesting about Halloween protection in some cases is that it's done via an eager table spool, and there are many times when I've found that a temp table is a faster approach. In other words, manual Halloween protection versus just letting SQL Server do its own HP, as they call it in the hood. So let's look at an example. If I gotta reset this column back to just being null, this isn't the problem we have. Our problem is not with this update. This update is fairly straightforward. We're not worried about this update. The reason I have the where 1 equals 1 there is because if I don't, SQL prompt will freak out. But if I throw a where 1 equals 1 on it, it just runs. So thanks for checking. The things you do for love. Okay, so we got query plans turned on, and I want to show you an example of an update. Well, I mean, I guess it could go for a delete as well, or an insert in some cases, where the values that you need to pull from are also are stored in the table that you are modifying. And in this case, we are setting the max score column equal to the max score when we look at the question score and answer score in this total score by user table that I totally made up. So obviously this score in the Stack Overflow database will tally up the total question score and answer score for each user, and then the max score column tries to figure out if their question score is higher or their answer score is higher. Okay, whatever. It demos well, at least. But when we run this, since this is the table that we need to update, and it's also the table with the data in it, SQL Server is going to use a spool to protect us from Halloween. So throw some holy water on it, I guess. And this thing runs for, I don't know, like almost 6 seconds, 5.7 seconds. And if we look at the query operators and we kind of tally up where we start spending time, well, it's about a second up until this merge join, right? And then we get over to this table spool and we hit 3.4 seconds. So that's about 2.5 seconds that we spend in the spool itself, right? Because 3.4 minus 1.062. I'm willing to call that 2.5. I'm not interested in arguing about 100 and something milliseconds with you. And then there's about another 1.3-ish milliseconds spent actually doing the update. Now, I don't have any like firm you've got to do this when type rules, because query tuning is a lot about experimentation. There's all sorts of different, as I learned from a very wise Kiwi who is not just full of bird ideas, that there are many local factors involved with query tuning that may make different approaches and techniques worthwhile. One that I find in this case is if I look at a query plan and I see an eager table spool in it for a modification query like this, I might try staging data in a temp table myself and then running the update from that temp table. That takes out the need for SQL Server to do Halloween protection because we have a separate structure to read from. That's what a spool is. It's a separate structure. And there are all sorts of fun optimizations that doing things with temp tables can get that eager index spools do not get. If I tried to come up with an exhaustive list, I would probably be here for longer than I want to be. And I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is show you a way to have modification queries go faster by avoiding the built-in Halloween protection. Now, what we're going to do is dump the results of that union all into a temp table, and I just got a phone call from my local wine store that I have placed a delivery from, and I had to pick a substitute wine. So if there's a little hiccup in this video, now you see why. I didn't even attempt to make it look seamless. Isn't that fun? Cool. All right. The wonders of modern technology. I can order wine, record SQL Server training videos, and that's it. That's all I can do with my life is order wine and record SQL Server training videos. I was going to come up with another thing, but it doesn't exist. So we're going to... I already did it. Let's do it again. Let's do it again for fun. Let's stick the results of that query into a temp table. And that happens pretty quickly. That only takes a second. All right, so that's good news there. And then let's update from that temp table. And that should take just about a second and a half. It does, right? So cool. So all together, if we run this all at once in one big hunka chunka munka of burning love, this runs in just about 2.5 seconds. 1 second to do the insert. Oh, actually, no, it's faster. Faster. Look at that. Look at that. So much faster. So much better, right? So about 2 seconds total, which is awesome because the original took like what, 6.5 seconds? Now we think of all the locking and blocking time we could save ourselves by doing manual Halloween protection rather than doing automatic Halloween protection, I guess it would be called, right? Manual versus automatic. Get the stick. All right, whatever. So yeah, whenever I'm looking at queries and trying to tune them, there are some servers you get into and there's just massive locking and blocking issues. You might not be able to get an optimistic isolation level turned on, or you might be in a situation where modification queries are blocking each other. Right? It's not just like readers and writers fighting. It's like writers are like, and like optimistic isolation levels don't help that. No way, no how. I mean, snapshot isolation can sort of, but it's complicated. And so there are times when it does help to reduce the duration of modification queries to reduce locking, to reduce blocking, and one great way to do that is to use temp tables, like I just showed you. Ooh, it's crazy. Ooh, it's insane. Ooh. All right, cool. I'm done here. I'm going to go record another video. I'm going to hit save there. I think we're good. All right, cool. Talk to you later.